Shalom Jerusalem, Salem Jerusalem. Ja, scheiße. Yeah, trash. Go on the page of Haaretz and read this. I mean, of course, the hostages is not a beautiful situation, but also look what the Jews have done to the Palestinians. Yeah, it is the Haaretz. It is your own newspaper, and look at that. If anyone should not forget nor forgive, it's the Palestinians. Yeah, you have humiliated them so much, and also war crimes, rape, killed. You have killed children in the arms of the father, things like that. Yeah, man. I suggest only, man. We have to discuss everything. All options, all opinions are okay. Yeah, even if they sound a bit crazy or a bit radical. But they have been kicked out of their own nation, and the Palestinians. Yeah. Let's open it. Mm, yeah. Free hostages on both sides, says the Palestinians. Yeah. Also the prisoners. Yeah. And we can also be appreciated that the radical Islamic uh, terror group Hamas, yeah, they accept to give up their power. Yeah? It's incredible. Yeah? Okay, I will put it slowly. You can read. I won't read it. You have to read on your own text. Yeah? It should be interesting. Yeah. One moment, please. Yeah? I won't speak. Yeah. For Israelis, from the river to the sea is a reality. For Palestinians, it's a crime. Haaretz, Jewish newspaper. Palestinian prisoners with shirts bearing the Israeli prison service logo and the phrase "We will not forgive nor forget" posted on Saturday by the prison service. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Hundreds of Palestinian detainees and prisoners who were released on Saturday are seen on their knees in prison wearing white t-shirts bearing the blue Star of David and the words "We will not forget nor forgive." Israel thereby forced them into being walking banners of Zionism in its most despicable form. Last week it was bracelets with a similar message. The eternal people, never forget, we will pursue and find my enemies. The head of Israel's prison service, Kobi Yacobi, released himself to be a questionable copywriter. There's nothing like this ludicrous pictures to reflect how low the propaganda of a modern state can sink. The prison service wanted to be Hamas, but Hamas is more successful than the service, at least in this battle over winning minds. It's agreeably more humane as well. It is agreeably more humane as well. The hostages who returned on Saturday looked better than some of those prisoners in the blue and white t-shirts. Free the hostages on both sides. Israel frees 369 Palestinian prisoners as part of Hamas hostage deal, most detained in war. Hamas wins hearts and minds with prisoner release, but the Palestinian public remains lost. Ridiculous as the pictures are, one cannot ignore the message Israel chose to attach to the bodies to be released of the released prisoners. We won't forget. We won't forgive. We will pursue you. Hamas' message was, time is running out. Even this is a cheap propaganda and cannot ignore the message. It's immoral to use hostages as a propaganda banner. This applies to us as well. Their propaganda talks about ending the war, while our talks about pursuit on and an endless war waged by the internal people which does not forget nor forgive. The world, including Israel, forgot when it came to Nazi Germany. Vietnam forgot when it came to the US. The Algerians forgot as far as France goes, and the Indians did the same regarding Britain. Only the eternal people will never forget. How ridiculous. If anyone should not forget and forgive, one day it will be the Palestinians. After 100 years of torment, including the prisoners who were released on Saturday. They will not forget under what conditions they were held in, and some will not forgive their wrongful detention with no trial ever held in the case. A crowd burns the shirts worn by freed Palestinian prisoners in Khan Yunis, Gaza on Saturday. Emotions ran wild on Saturday, and justifiable so. 3 more lives were extricated from hell. News Channel 12 military analyst Dir Dvori explained to Israelis that the release of hostages was evidence of the resilience of the Israeli nation. Without specifying that he meant for the brainwashed and wary viewers, there was no need to do so. It sufficed for the philosopher Dvore to pronounce how beautiful we are. But while all moist eyes were turned into the military base, the hostages' first point of arrival, and then to Sheba Medical Center and Ichilov Hospital, where there were taken. Another 369 Palestinian detainees and prisoners were released, all of them being human beings exactly like our Sagui, Iyar, and Sasha. Cameras of foreign media outlets focus less on the Palestinians, while Israeli cameras almost totally ignored them. They are all murders. After all, no helicopter waited for them in order to rush them to the hospital, and some were immediately deported from their country. A minority of them had blood on their hands. It's an important phrase. A minority of them had blood on their hands. The others were political prisoners, opponents of the regime. Most of them were residents of Gaza who were caught up in that inferno. It's doubtful that all of the hundreds of Gazans released on Saturday had ever raised a hand against an Israel's defense forces, soldier, residents of Israel's border communities. Some of them were abducted from Khan Yunis, just like Israelis were abducted from Nirois. But as far as Israel is concerned, all of them was part of Hamas Nukba force. They were also awaited by excited families, no less excited than the Dekel Chan, Truvanov, and Horn families. They also loved their children. Some of them didn't know what had happened to their loved ones since the war began, just like our families didn't. But whereas our family, like the entire nation, were allowed to rejoice as much as they wished to, led by Israel's propaganda broadcast, which turned an every human celebration into a North Korean-style festival of indoctrination. The Palestinians were forbidden to rejoice. In East Jerusalem and the West Bank, only display of joy were again prohibited. They were not allowed to express joy, so cruel to our tyranny, extending as far as controlling their emotions. A Palestinian prisoner wearing an Israeli prison service shirt is greeted after being released from Israeli prison in the West Bank city of Ramallah on Saturday. Judging by the treatment of prisoners and hostages, a very meaningful index. It's hard to know which society is more humane. Does Israel abide by the Geneva Convention more than Hamas does? It cannot claim so anymore. This is an important phrase. Look at that. Does Israel abide by the Geneva Convention more than Hamas does? It cannot claim so anymore. This harsh imprisonment can no longer be amended, not even with T-shirt ablaze with a blue Star of David. Yeah, that's cynical, yeah. Moment, I'm in my bed and I have only underwear and I will have to take a T-shirt first.